All right, looks like we're live today. So we're going to be working on another sphere because, of course, it's Sphere Saturday, and I've already got it in the machine, just waiting for us. And just to let you know, I've already started the grit process because I figured that, like last time, the 1 in 200 grits, you're not really going to see a whole lot. And well, to be honest, I almost forgot about today, so I was about to finish this one off and pulled it luckily in time. So we're going to actually be starting at the 500 grit this time, which is all good. Hey, Rock Dude, good to see you. Epoch, good to see you. Glad my homies are showing up. You know, always good to see you guys. But I almost forgot to pull this one, and so we are going to be starting at the 500 grit tonight. Unfortunately, you know, you're going to miss those first couple riveting stages, but that's all right. We all know what the good part is. So I think we're going to get this machine started up and start rocking. Looks like we're starting out tonight with a nice strong rotation. One of the things I have been doing lately, though, is I've been turning it off and turning it on again, just so we change that rotation a little bit because, you know, I feel like I've been getting a better finished product there. Hey, thanks, Epoch. Hey, by the way, you guys, how's my sound tonight? Is it wonky again? Um, the program I used to do the live streaming here tried to do an update on me again, but I was a little smart this time and figured to I knew when to say no, basically. So hopefully everything sounds like it did last time. I know we didn't have as much of the machine sound as some of us may like, but we're definitely still getting at least like clear enough audio to where I don't sound like a robot, number one, because that just irritated me. I do watch these over, you know, just to try to continuously improve. But I appreciate that, Rock Dude. But yeah, I also know that Epoch in the past has voiced his opinion on being able to hear the machine as well because he would like to hear some of the noise it makes, you know, just to know what's kind of going on and everything. You know, because there is going to be a lot that you can actually learn by listening to the machine, but at the same time, we got to kind of think of everybody. But Epoch is going to be out here next month. I think, what was it, like the 17th or whatever, and so I'm sure we're going to be doing some live streaming. And then I'm going to teach him how to make spheres, and more importantly, I'm going to teach him how to pick up big, heavy rocks so I don't have to. Because I think we're going to probably go out to one of my normal locations to pick up some of this antigorite. And yeah, try to get him doing a little bit of rolling. But looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really nice. And then after that, we're probably going to be, depending on if we need to help out my dad with the shop build or anything, we're probably going to head straight out to the mines after that, which I'm really looking forward to. I've wanted a sunstone mine for the past 10 years and finally got one. And even cooler, I got to do it with a good friend of mine and my brother. Pretty hard to beat, you know. Got to do something that, you know, I want to do. And a lot of people in life don't get to do that. Notifications on, sweet. Hey, good to see you, Wooden Chrome. It's always good to see you guys. Appreciate it. And definitely appreciate you guys checking out my last video. I hope that did help. I mean, I know that you guys check out the live streams and stuff, but of course I can't really like do the core drill, you know, in my shop here. It's way too loud and messy. And so I know that there was a bunch of people asking like, oh, show us the core drill, show us what, the whole process and everything. And so, yeah, I think that was, I don't know, took me a little bit longer to make than most of my videos, but I think it's performing pretty well, and I was pretty happy about it. Hey, Brian, good to see you, bud. Appreciate you joining tonight. But, yeah, this sphere that we got in tonight it's going to be absolutely gorgeous, to be honest. I did finish one up earlier and gave it over to my buddy Nate over at rockhound.com. So there's going to be a bunch of spheres over there. But yeah, this is one of the brother spheres. So a lot of the rocks that I've been drilling lately, I've been able to get like at least 2 cores out of it. And so this was one of the ones that I got 2 out of, and oh man, I gotta tell you, even the light penetration is pretty good on this one. But for the most part, I just really like that green that that comes in this antigorite. It's really nice. In fact, might be able to see this little guy right here. This is kind of a little bit lighter. And then of course I got the white one. I still working on the polishing on those though. I actually have been in the shop since like 6 a.m. and I was working on everything, but then I had to go over to the Crater Rock Museum today to do a little bit of preform work, and because I'm really trying to get my preforms down. In fact, I want to show you that. So I'm getting a lot better at my preforms. It's surprisingly hard to do the preforms. It's really easy to hold down on a drill handle and, listen to the machine and make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do, not bogging it down and not coming into it too fast, something like that. But with the preforms, it actually takes a little bit more skill, and it's definitely a little bit more of an arduous process, Loving the audio and camera setups, fearless banging. Hey, thanks, Brian. Really appreciate it, bud. I'm just trying to get a little bit better each time I do these, But those preforms are, they're just a little bit more difficult. But I was reading a post in the sphere making group, and there was a guy who was asking about the motors, because he wanted to create his own machine. And John Rowland, one of the owners of Highland Park, chimed in and was like, well, something you really need to think about is the strength of the motor, because especially when you're doing your roughing, it can really beat those motors up. And so I started thinking about that. Well, yeah, my roughing, when I'm doing that, it's pretty rough, like that machine's really kind of going crazy and stuff. And so it's like, well, maybe I need to improve that a little bit to, just kind of improve the longevity of my machines. And so it does take me quite a bit longer now to make the preforms, but I think overall it's going to be better in the long run, because I was also talking to another friend of mine, Jack Hoke, and he was saying that, depending on what type of material it is, when you're doing that roughing, it can actually cause micro fractures in the stone itself. And so maybe this is why like facetors start out with like a 600 grit, not sure, don't do that yet, but just kind of made me think that I need to really start working on, making my preforms a lot better, because eventually I'm going to want to do, let's say, higher grade material, like that quartz with rutile in it. That stuff is so awesome, but kind of afraid to do something like that, just because I'm not super experienced with it yet. And so I think that, learning more about it, and not just like the hands-on stuff, but like actually the more of the, I don't know, the mental stuff, you know what I mean? It's like you're thinking about what you're doing before you make a mistake, you know. And so just to let you guys know, I've been running my stages for about 15 minutes. And so I got a timer going tonight. And then I have been bumping up a couple stages to a little bit longer, because when we transition from the pre-polish to the polish phase, I like to let that go just a little bit longer, so maybe we'll run like 20 minutes, 17 to 20 minutes, And then I also like to run the final stage a little bit longer as well, because, we're really trying to, we might have janky equipment here and stuff like that, but ultimately that shouldn't prevent us from getting a high quality finish, And I think that so far we've been doing a pretty good job, and we've made sure that, quality comes first. But, there's going to always be little things that you got to try to do to get better and better and better each time, I was needing long core samples, and I found the porta potty does them affordably. Look at the septic tank. Oh, awesome, bud. Hey, rockhound.com. Oh, look at that, buddy. Look at that. We got rockhound.com in the house. No fear, just be careful. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Think about things, right? We need to get you a pop filter. Yeah, I know it, bud. I know it. Well, this microphone does, it's all right. It's a good starter mic. But eventually, yeah, we're gonna upgrade everything. We'll upgrade the cameras, we'll upgrade the mic, we'll upgrade the machines, we'll even upgrade the area here. Just one step at a time. I'm fortunate for what we got, and fortunate for all you guys who at least stick with me while we're working everything out. But I think that we're creating a nice community here, and that's ultimately what this is all about. Just doing what we like to do and hanging out with each other. Plus, it's a lot easier to hang out like this than it is, in other places when we live far apart. Like I can't be just driving up to Portland or the East Coast. So I'm sure we can get one of them pop filters though for fairly cheap. We'll just have to figure it out. I'm sure Amazon sells a nice cheap one. And then, yeah, I think we're going to make Rockhound there like an admin for the live streams here. Because, he's done a lot of that streaming stuff before on like Twitch or whatever it was. And, yeah, he's been helping us out. So I think it'll be good. A few bucks on Amazon. Sweet, man. Well, we'll have to get one ordered up here soon. Once YouTube gives me that sweet, sweet money. But yeah, actually, speaking of Rockhound, he ended up getting some of that Medfordite cut, and I gotta tell you, it's pretty beautiful. So definitely gonna want to check that out before too long. So, and I think, depending on how things go, we might be heading back up there before too long. But we want to bring Rock Dude with us this time, because I think Rock Dude is a valuable member to our team. The guy's an animal. He just knows how to get it, But I'm going to switch this over real quick. Just turn it off, turn it right back on, and you'll see how the rotation changes. Because you see, like, over on the corner there, you're starting to build up a little bit of that slurry. That's because it's not getting a full rotation like it should be. Heck yeah, buddy. Well, we'd love to have you up there. I think it would be good fun. And fortunately, it's for us, it's not too far of a hike. Funny enough, though, I did have somebody comment on that video who was the original finder of that whole geode pocket. And he's got a bunch of videos that he made, and this was like 10 years ago. So it's kind of crazy. of course, I had to thank him for leaving us some, because that was some wicked stuff. But yeah, you see the rotation now is looking a lot better. And every once in a while it'll catch. And I know it's a little bit hard because we got the lag of the camera and it's not super high quality. But every once in a while you'll see what it will do is it'll actually kind of catch it just funny and it will like rotate it in a different direction. But it's actually kind of nice to have that circle on the top there, on the rock, because it really tells you like, oh, okay, you can see it's actually moving. It's not just repeating the same rotation. Um, the other thing I was going to tell you guys is I finally got my small cups. I ordered them in November, so I'm so excited to have them. And my big cup should be here on the 24th. So that's going to be, oh man, that's going to be big. So that's going to allow me to do, so they're 3.5 inch cups, which means I think I can go up to like 4.5 inch. I think I might be able to actually go a little bit bigger than that because I feel like it's weird when it comes like to the sizing. Seems like once you get, if you're going smaller, then you have less of a range. But then once you get up bigger, you can go a little bit bigger, right? And so I think it might be 5 inch. But yeah, eventually what we're going to do is we're going to have to get the whole range of cups, which, well, it's going to be expensive, but hey, that's what we're working up to. And if we do really good this mining season, we're going to have it. It's going to be great. Grab my water real quick. Oh yeah, wooden chrome. Um, we've got some. We've got a lot of it. In fact, um, we're going to be cutting a whole lot more too. I'm pretty sure Rockhound got like, I mean, he was cutting it all day long. Might check it out on the website there, rockhound.com. Definitely worth it, man. Because we're trying to put new stuff up on there all the time. In fact, I just gave them like 11 spheres today. Everything 4 inch down to 3 inch, I believe. And then I do have a bunch of these small ones right here, these little 2.5s that I'll be putting on there as well. But if you want to check them out, definitely. And there's a bunch of other stuff, man. Tons of other stuff. They just got back from Tucson, so they got some really wicked stuff this year. Someone commented tumbling that would destroy the round stones unless they were in perfect cylinder. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I was talking about Rockhound about it today, and it's like you wouldn't really get a sphere. And I think that a lot of people who are new into the hobby, that's all they know is rock tumbler. If you told them like, oh yeah, there's flat laps and vibratory laps and gang saws and all kinds of crazy stuff. What? What are you talking about? I mean, they don't even. A lot of people don't even know these things exist. And so it's like, well, welcome to the world. Hope you stick around. Because playing with rocks is, it's pretty fun, and there's a lot to do, especially when you get into things like the gem cutting. Hey, Yesel, good to see you. Thanks for joining tonight. Found a secondhand Shibuya core drill this week. It's pretty cheap, but I need to build a high platform to mount it on. Wonder if it should pour a concrete slab and a foot into the ground above. Yeah, I had Rock Dude help me out building the stand, because it's all adjustable and everything. But I would say that, the most common thing that I see is people actually build like a wood platform, because what they want to do is they want to be able to like stand tall up on it. Oh, yep, look at that. Looks like we're about ready to move on to the next stage. So we'll get that swapped over real quick. spray this off real quick. I haven't got clean towels tonight. Just thinking. And unfortunately, this one wasn't as clean as I thought. So yeah, like for some of you guys who just joining here, we skipped the. Well, we didn't skip. I already started out with a little bit earlier because I kind of forgot about the live stream thing, and so we just ended up doing the 500 grit stage, and now we're going to move on to the 800. And so the 800 is actually one of the stages I like to go a little bit longer on, just because once you get past this, you're basically into the polish phase. And so this is where you're going to get those last kind of, well, really what it is this is right about the time you'll start lightening up on your pressure and increasing the water flow. Or at least that's how I've been doing it. Found that is a great way to get the finished result that we're all looking for. And, in all reality, a little bit of extra time is worth it. All right. I think that's going to do. We'll set our timer. So yeah, like I said, lately I've just been doing these for about 15-minute stages per stage, but I do a little bit longer on this stage just because I want to make sure we get all those pre-polished scratches out. Because sometimes, especially if you didn't do the preforming well enough, when it's doing all of its roughing, it can cause some pretty deep scratches, especially if you got some softer material here. So I just have been letting it go a little bit longer. See what I can come up with. Got some logs sitting around in the shop. Also interested in using the scroll saw and diamond wire. Oh yeah, I've been wanting to build like a like a diamond cable saw for a long time. I think that would be really cool, and I think that to be honest, there's a bunch of people who around here locally would be pretty interested in using it as well. So it might even eventually pay for itself. But yeah, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of options nowadays, especially since you can buy like industrial diamond abrasives just in bulk. And to be honest, like you can get a lot done with these home build machines. Like as much as I want the professional machines, I mean, for some people, they're just completely out of the reach. I mean, even right now, I can't afford to buy the Highland Park machine. It's not in the cards, But I'm saving it up. I'm working hard to see what we can get, and then eventually we'll upgrade. But for now, I'm able to get a pretty nice finished product, And I think actually here soon we're going to start doing some different materials, just to kind of switch things up a little bit. I mean, I love cutting this stuff, love polishing it. It looks great. Some of my favorite local material, in fact. But I do understand that there's stuff that people want to see, and so I've got some massive chunks of some really cool agate seams from McDermott, and I think that once the weather breaks, we're going to drill some of those up, make some spheres out of those, and then there's also some just kind of, let's say, lesser materials that we're gonna mess around with as well. So like we have some really nice quartzite around here that has like pretty neat dendrites and stuff in it, just generally cool characteristics. I think that we're gonna mess around with some of that. There is some rhodonite around here, and I've been invited to the rhodonite claim out there in Grants Pass. So we'll probably be doing that before too long. But I'm kind of in crunch period right now because it's like, you know, don't have too much time before mining season starts, and so it's like, okay, I got to do as much as I can now before I head out to the mines. Oh, really? Small Hitachi ones there. That's not bad at all for 40 bucks. Yeah. Hey, Casey, thanks for joining tonight, man. Appreciate you being here. I mean, I would say, to be honest, dude, the core drill is probably the biggest, like, um, barrier for a lot of people wanting to do spheres. You know, I would say the old school method of making 10,000 cuts on a saw, where you need a special little jig that spins the log a million times, it's not worth it anymore. Um, Fortunately, like if you watch Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or whatever, you can usually pick up a cheap core drill. I would just kind of stay away from like your really cheap stuff, because it's like how much are you actually gonna get? I mean, if you break it the third time you use it, did you really save anything? You know, the children yearn for the mines. By children, I mean me. Yes, sir, I yearn for the mines as well. And I really hope that we're gonna find just some absolutely amazing stuff this year, because well, I got faith, man. I got faith. 100% honest. We don't know what we're gonna get into. It's the dirt lottery. That's just the way it is. But I've got some faith that this is gonna be life changing. So, I'm looking forward to it. But also, gotta admit, I'm a little scared. A little scared, because we're gonna be out in the desert for a long time. The longest I've ever been out there. I love it out there, but it's kind of crazy to just be like, I'm going out there and we're just gonna see what happens. But I got my brother with me, and if anything, I'll just eat him. Nah, I mean, he's a big guy, so we're all good out there. We're gonna have some strong backs working, and we're gonna have a good little habitat we're setting up, and so yeah, I think it's gonna be great. But for the most part, it's gonna be an experience. You know what I mean? And I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be the highlight of my year. I really can't wait. Hope you guys slay it out there, bro. We're going to, buddy. Buying cheap adds up. I agree on buying something that lasts for robust. Yeah, dude. Exactly. Cry once or buy once, cry once. That's my thing. Fortunately, I was really lucky with my friends, to be honest, because I bought a couple of those core drills. I just saw one on Facebook Marketplace over in Bend and was like, oh yeah, go pick it up. And the guy offered me two of them. He's like, I'll give you this other one for an extra 50 bucks. I'm like, done. And then he gave me an extra control box and everything like that. But I didn't have the stand. And so, like, Rock Dude came in clutch, man, and because he's a machinist. And he's like, oh, dude, just come down to the shop. We'll build you one. And it was like, okay, well, that's great. What do we need? Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And so he was telling me what we need, and we went down to the metals, metal shop, Rogue Metals, out there in White City. And it was like, we need some gear, some for the whole rack and pinion drive. And it just so happened that the one piece that they had was exactly what we needed. Like, just lucky. And but I will tell you, man, I couldn't thank Rock Dude enough, because, man, that guy with his skill and the access to the shop that he has and stuff like that, it's just super appreciative. And I mean, he spent hours, man. We spent days working on this thing, because I mean, it was weird. Like, we'd be running, just taking off little bits of metal in this for the runners to like slide down, right? And it was like, he'd be cutting it, everything would be true, and I think like maybe the metal would heat up or something, and so all of a sudden what was good all of a sudden is not good, and he's like, "What the hell is this? You know, why is it doing this?" And so there was some troubleshooting involved, and you know, it was great, but you know, I mean, I've been using it ever since, man, and it's a brick shit house, dude. I mean, ain't nothing stopping it, and it works great, you know, and like you can get a pretty big rock in there, you know. And I was even thinking that if I really wanted to, you know, I could probably rotate the whole the tower, I guess you could call it, rotate it around 90 degrees or 180 degrees, excuse me, and then that way we could drill into, like, if we could broad it out somewhere like onto scene, you know, I could just drill big rocks right there, you know. But I think it's just the way it is right now. I mean, it works great. One day, you know, maybe I'll do it like the pros and cut little nice little cute cubes and everything, so I can, oh yes, oh look at me, I drill a little hole, you know. But nah, man, I ain't got that right now. So right now I just ratchet strap a rock to a big plate of aluminum and go. I mean, hey, gotta do what you gotta do, right? But we're getting it, and so that's what's important, you know. Hey, David, thanks for joining tonight. The right-hand cup is a bit dominant. Yeah, you know, I've noticed that too. And actually, we're about time to do a little switchy switch. So let me see if I can do something with that. Now, see, you got a little bit of change there. And it's the weirdest thing because it's like those motors swap out. Like, they swap directions. And I don't know which one is going to switch. And they don't just always swap the opposite direction. And so, like, I've noticed that, you know, I'll turn it on, turn it off real quick, and two of the three motors continue going the same direction, but the third motor decides that it's going to reverse direction. And it's like, okay, well, what is this? And so there's been times where yesterday, I was in the shop for like 12 hours yesterday, just trying to get a bunch of stuff done. And like, I was working on these small balls, and I was like, dang old small balls, like they always give me such a hard time. And because you got to have these long extensions on them, right? And I think that kind of changed the whole dynamic because it's not all true. And so, like, I would get it and it just would not spin correctly. And so it's like, okay, well, do some little adjustments here, nope, none of this is working. Why is it not working? So I was like, okay, fine. I'll turn it off and turn it back on real quick. And it's like, nope, that didn't work either. And I'm like, okay, turn it off, turn it back on again. All of a sudden it's working. And it's, you know, it's because one of the motors would switch directions, the other one would stay the same or something like that. And now all of a sudden it just works. But it's like I was telling Rockhound earlier, it's like once I get the Pro machine and it's like reliable and I know exactly what's going to happen when I flip the switch or, you know, crank the wheel or something like that, I'm going to be so appreciative because it's like I've learned the hard way. You know, I've had to deal with all the weird little quirks and nuances of a home build machine. But hey, gotta start somewhere, right? Oh yeah, absolutely, yes. Appreciate you coming by, you know. Have fun picking up the kid, man. We'll see you before too long, huh? Awesome things. We aren't scared. Nah, man, not scared. Just, you know. I don't know, bud. You know, tough to put the words to it, you know. Not many people in life just drop everything that they're doing and say, I'm going to go mine gemstones. Like, I went on a coffee date with a girl the other day. I mean, it wasn't like a date, you know. It was just I knew her from high school and we were catching up and everything like that. But you know, she's like, so like, you're just gonna go out into the desert and dig gemstones? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, like, what are you gonna do with your apartment or your house or whatever? And I'm like, I live with my dad. I don't care. I'm more like, as long as my dad's not doing anything stupid, like, climbing up and trying to clean out the gutters himself, I'm fine. So I'm just going to clean out all the gutters and make sure everything's cool, because that's one thing. I don't, I try to look out for my dad. He's getting older, so, um, I have a rare opportunity to just be like, I'm out, because I don't think the real estate market's really going to do much this year, to be honest. And so I figured, why sit around and, hum and haw all the time going, oh, God, nothing's changing. Oh, what am I going to do? When it's like, everything's going to work, man. Just go do what you want to do, And I think that's good advice for anybody, Things are going to work out. Are you going to have a Maserati and a McMansion and, personal jet? No. But what's more important, doing what you want to do or having all these possessions? I mean, for me, I just want to do what I want to do and be happy, do my time, let everything else figure out, I think we've been kind of sold lies. Now we all think that we need stuff when we really don't, Hey, Oregon Territory Adventure, it's good to see you, bro. I like the new profile pic there, buddy. That's good. That's good. Improvements, bud. Guys from the shop working on the rig. Yeah, I saw that actually, dude. Saw your Instagram post. That's a good son bringing you one of them tasties. Yes, sir. Oh, Guy Young's in the house. Oh, look, we got a VIP here. Oh, geez, look at that. Hey, thanks, Guy. I really appreciate it. I hope you're feeling better, man. I heard that you got a little sick recently and were kind of couch bound. So it's good to see you. Appreciate you being by. We do have an excellent sphere tonight, and this is a 4-inch. And I think it's going to be pretty awesome. In fact, we're going to swap out those cups right there. That annoying little, oh no, that's a 15-minute mark. Hold on. Because I want to do an extra 5 minutes since this is the 800 grit. So yeah, we're going to go an extra 5 because, once we switch over to that polish stage, we want to make sure everything has been, cleaned out. And I know you can't really see it that well, but if you look on the black part of the cup itself, right? You can actually see like the milky water that is being produced, by the grinding and everything. And at this stage, what I really like to do is I like to watch that water, because eventually what you'll see is it will get clearer and clearer and clearer, because if the pressure is staying the same, all it's doing is it's cutting the cuts, if you will, right? So you have the scratches, and then it's taking those scratches down, down, down. And so you should get it to where it's super, well, for that stage, it's really smooth. And so if you watch the water, you'll see when it kind of gives you an idea of when it's time to move on. So let me, our trusty shims, use this thing for everything in the shop, I swear, lately, but I'll show you what that looks like real quick and just give it a little bit of build up, So you see how you kind of got that milky, Now, although that looks super milky, right? It's not actually that bad. Because like if I let this go, especially when I have the water at this high of a drip, what will happen is I can notice on the bottom, where you guys can't really see, the drip actually gets a little bit more transparent. And so that's where I like to, try to give it like a little bit extra time. Now when I'm just not doing the live stream type thing, I'll just let it go, and I'll come back periodically and check it and see like, okay, how's the water looking? Okay, yeah, it's still all right. But I had an old timer. There was this video I was watching, and the old timer said you should run your stages until they're clear. And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense, because on 100 grit, 200 grit, 300 grit, even 500 grit. If I just keep letting that thing go, it's just going to keep cutting. But I don't necessarily know if he was talking about the pre-polish stages. I think that he was specifically talking about the polish stages. And the reason I think this is because what you'll notice is once we get into the polish stage, what happens is you'll notice that water is milky white right now, but eventually it goes more to like a brownish black. It's really interesting. And what I think that is because it's no longer cutting. Because although this is 800 grit, it's still cutting, just very, very slowly and very, very shallow. Can't wait to live in the desert. More IRL achievements. Yeah, buddy, I tell you. Really, I just can't wait to have you experience that full moon out there, dude. Because it's like, there ain't no trees. So when you get that full moon, man, you can just see everything. It's crazy, man. It's super cool. It's a whole different world out there, and especially since we'll be out there in the springtime, you get to actually see how the desert blossoms, which is, everybody thinks, oh, it's a desert. There ain't nothing out there but rocks, sand, and, scorpions. But, no, man, the place is teeming with life. It's really cool. And, like you saw when I took you up onto Heart Mountain, bro, there's a bunch of antelope up there. It's pretty wicked, dude. It's pretty cool. Especially when you get a whole horde of them just bouncing around doing their thing. We'll make sure to, bring the drone out there and get some sweet views. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm really looking forward to catching that first big fat red. Yeah, buddy. It's going to be awesome. All right, so that was another 5 minutes. We're going to check this real quick and see if it's good. Yeah, it's crazy. So just in that couple of minutes there, I could tell that the water is less milky than it was when I initially showed you guys. So I'd say it's probably pretty all right. Looks like I do need to fill up the water again, though. So we'll make sure to get that before we forget about it. See if I can show you guys this real quick. So yeah, you can see here, it's got some good green in it right there. And I bet you we got great light penetration. I just need to grab that gem torch. I'm going to show you that. I think I left it in the truck because I was down at the shop earlier and I wanted to show off my pretties. You always need the good gem torch for that. So yeah, this thing's looking pretty smooth right off the bat. Yeah, and those chromite inclusions, when you get them really, once you get into the polish stages, you can start seeing them get shinier and shinier and more metallic. It's pretty cool stuff. Really nice material. What's crazy actually is I just learned that they have this stuff, the same exact material. Well, I mean, not exact, but it's antigorite over in Maine. So we're gonna switch over to 1,000 grit. Um, but yeah, I guess there's a river over there in Maine that they find this stuff, and there's a guy on Facebook who's been posting some crazy pictures lately where he's cutting little candy dishes out of this stuff. Now his isn't quite as gemmy as the stuff we're getting here, but it's still pretty nice. I'll say that for sure. All right, so let's get some love on this. So it looks like Alright. I think we're looking pretty good. Get that timer set. Make sure we don't forget about that. Yeah, I had the other day I was doing it and completely spaced out. Oh, you know what? We need to increase our water flow, it looks like. So it looks like we got decent spin on there, but I can tell we're already going to have to do a little switch flippery in the future here, because although we're getting some good rotation there, you can see where that that white stripe is. It's only getting a little bit of movement. And actually, if I do this, yeah, it's only changing a little bit. Yeah, this is basically what I've been having to deal with lately. It's so weird, you know. And it's, you know, what's crazy too is my other roughing machine, which is originally what I was using for polishing. None of these quirks, nothing. But I did have some really good suggestions from some viewers here on the last video that I just posted. So my little drip line there kind of bends down like this, and it's super annoying. And the guy's like, you know, you should wrap some steel wire around it, like they do with bonsai. I was like, oh, that's clever right there. We'll be doing that one. And then, you know how it's explaining how the slides that the motors are on, some of them, they have different gaps, right? Which creates a whole different variable. He's like, you go get some plastic, thick plastic, and recut those. Ultimately, it's like, how much is that going to cost? You know, am I going to, because at this point, like spending any extra money to just kind of tough it out and work with the funky little details of the machine, and then once, you know, I have the money, get the good machine. Like I said, by the time I get that good machine, I'm going to appreciate that. I'm going to appreciate the hell out of that thing. Oh, man. You know, it's just like all the stuff that's taken me to even get here. It's been pretty crazy. I mean, I've had the core drill and this machine back here, the roughing machine, for probably 5 years. Just couldn't get to the point where I could actually do anything. And then finally I bought this machine and my other roughing machine, the small one, and another, well, it's the parts machine now. But I bought those from a friend for like 300. Actually, she was trying to sell them for 300, and I was like, nah, dude, I won't pay less than 350. Like, you don't know what you have here, so here's 350. And she was like, what, really? And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, this is a killer deal. 300 is like, I couldn't do that to you. I just couldn't do that to you. So, you know, I'm not a rich man, but I was like, here, 50 extra bucks, dude. Like, and so she was appreciative, and I'm super appreciative, but, you know, it's taken a long time to get here. And it's kind of funny, you know, because a lot of the people in the comments were all like, oh, there's all this expensive stuff. And it's like, oh, buddy, oh, sweet child, you think this is expensive? Wait until you see the prices of the real stuff. That's what expensive looks like. You know, you're talking $3,600 for the brand new Highland Park machine. And the cups for the series of cups, which, you know, the roughing cups all the way to, oh, I want to say it's like 40,000 grit, because I know you can do obsidian. But there's like anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 bucks for an entire set, because, you know, they're like, for the 3-inch ones, for instance, That adds up pretty quick, guys. That adds up pretty quick. But the cool part is like you can do a lot of spheres, which actually is kind of crazy. I think I'll probably have to show you guys in one of the videos here in the next week or two, but I want to show you on the roughing cups how much they actually wear down. Because I've had these roughing cups behind me. They're the 3-inch ones, and I would say they're just now starting to get to the point where the tooth is angled, to the next edge. And I mean, I want to say this was like, I don't know, half an inch or something like that of sintered stuff. And so the nice part is too, is say I wear these cups all the way down and they just can't cut anymore, right? Well, what I could do is I can actually grind these teeth off and replace them. I can get these segments, and so I could actually, really, if I wanted to, build my own cups, or these cutter cups. But it's going to be a long time before I'll ever need to do that. Because, especially if I'm getting better at making my preforms. A little bit less wear on them and stuff. But, of course, once I start cutting harder materials and everything, that's going to wear them down a little faster. And, yeah. Nice part is, though, once Kingsley North gets their stock in order, there's a 60 grit X, like a X textured wheel for Frank, and that is going to speed up my roughing process out tremendously. Because I mean, like right now, when I go down to the museum, they have an 80 grit one. It does pretty good. It's way faster than what I got right now on Frank, but it's still, to do this one took me like 2 hours for a 4-inch. That's a long time, dude. That's a long time. And these are not light. I mean, you think, oh, well, it's just a 4-inch ball, right? But it's not about just a 4-inch ball. I should actually weigh this sometime. I would say that it's probably pushing 10 pounds, to be honest. It's not light. It's got a whole bunch of metal in it. But the thing is when you're holding it out like this, eventually, yeah, it starts to wear on your back. Actually, Rockhound was making fun of my stance earlier because I'm like, and so I tried to get lower to be more like centered with the machine, and yeah, it was just kind of funny. You'll need the canopy to protect you from the sun 100%. We're going to have a huge shade cloth, and yeah, that's probably going to be about the first thing we're going to do for the first week or so that we're going to do is we're actually going to create like our camp, and kind of figure shit out. Like, okay, where are we starting to dig? Where do we want camp? What are we doing here? Get it to where, I mean, we're going to be out here for the next few months, so let's get this thing figured out. We want to be comfortable. And so, yeah, love it, man. Short time in the autumn, still beautiful. Oh, yeah, buddy. It's going to be God. You're going to love it out there. Why does only half the cup make contact with the sphere? Because it's a janky machine, and that's actually part of what helps it do a funky rotation. And so that's why a lot of why I use the shims. So depending on which motor it is, right? If I tighten it down, that will angle it as well. But sometimes what happens is if I bring the motor in, right, to like make full contact with the sphere, it actually doesn't make the right kind of contact, let's say. And so it's better to like pull the motor back just a little bit and then shim it up so then it makes better contact, let's say. And so right now I think it would be, let's see. Nope. This one right here, I've got shimmed. This one right here is not shimmed. And then the far one way over in that corner, that one's not shimmed either. But so there's 2 stages. So you see how there's two layers of these diamond pads. What I've noticed is you want to just be making contact with the inner layer. If you have, on the higher stages, when you're doing your lower stages, you want pressure, to be honest, because you're cutting, right? And so you want to have both touching. But a lot of it's just because it's wonky, bro. Thanks for joining tonight. I hope you're feeling better as well. Deepak told me that everybody was pretty sick over there recently, and I hope you guys are all doing better, Uman, I was there when I got these machines. Yes, you were, sir. And in fact, you pointed out that we got all these little polishing pads. I was like, wait, what? Oh, no way. Oh, sweet. So, yeah, glad we got the hookup. Hey, Gold, thanks for joining tonight. Where does one get a sphere-making lapidary machine, or all their homemade machines? So, I mean, really, you can get one from Highland Park Lapidary. You can get one from Covington Engineering. There's another guy up in Eugene who makes them. Sphereworld.com, I think, is what his website's called. This is pretty reasonable. It's $1,500, but it's slow as the dickens. And that's why the Highland Park machine is the way to go. I mean, it's the fastest, best machine on the market, just hands down. Cups, on the other hand, though, that's where you tend to have the problem. Most people, because cups are too expensive for a lot of people, people tend to make the cups. And so, for instance, these guys that you'll see here, this is a good way to cheap out on some cups. And then a lot of people, they'll use cast iron stuff. So they'll use like actually here, let me grab you real quick. So of course these ones have leather on them, so you can't really see the whole thing. But these are those reduced connectors for like rigid, I think is what they call it. So that's when they're doing like the fire sprinklers and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are making the homemade cups, and the homemade machines are really, it's not that hard to make one of these machines. The biggest advice I could give you, though, is put the money into the motors. Do not cheap out like some of these people you see online where they're using drill motors. You're going to burn something down, man. It's not good, And so make sure if you're going to do it, spend the money on the motors, Everything else, pretty easy. There's 1,000 different models out there that will tell you step by step. Oh, here's how you do it, and here's how you do this, and you cut like this, and blah, blah, blah. Let me switch this real quick. We'll give that just a hot second on there to do that. Because, yeah, it's doing some funky rotation. Oh, it looks like it. Gotta love the home builds, though. So, yeah. back to what we were talking about. So yeah, home build machine, definitely you can check out quite a few different builds, but just don't skip out on your motors. And you're, it's good to jump into something like the sphere making group on Facebook, because there's some pretty knowledgeable people on that group, and you can ask them whatever you want to. Covington makes them, and several others. Yeah, the Covington one though, it's a two-headed machine. Um, they might make a three-headed. I can't remember. I know they have a two-headed one though, and I've heard good things about it. But I don't know, man. I would put my money in Highland Park if I'm doing it. Don't push polish. Yeah, exactly. Hey Tracy, thanks for joining tonight. Good to see you. 1.5 horse or less. Yeah. So here, let me check that for you real quick, Cole. So your torque wants to be 30 pounds per square inch. And that one right there, my roughing machine, is only 61.7 RPM. So it gets geared down quite a bit because, you know, I mean, it's a big rock in there. Let's face it. And actually, you'll see sometimes on this machine where it'll kind of stall out when I start it, and that's because I got too much pressure. Going back to where I was telling you with the cups, you know, where it's like it's better to have the cup or the motor out a little bit and then shim it up to make contact, because otherwise you're making too much contact, put too much pressure on it, and it stresses the motors out. And these motors are not super strong, but they are faster. And so that's also why I have a roughing machine. Well, that's why I have two roughing machines and a polishing machine. Once I'm able to upgrade to the professional machine, I'll actually keep these, and all of them will become rough. Or I will not be able to keep up with a professional machine. That's how good professional machines are. Right now, if I'm really cooking and the weather's good and I can core drill to my heart's content and I got all the rocks in the world, I'm probably do about 20 to 25 spheres a week. With the Highland Park machine, I can do 100 to 125 spheres per week. So there's a big difference. And the high-speed machine that I'm looking to get can go up to 6-inch. So, and that's as big as I want to do for now. Yeah, of course, one day I would love to be able to do, these massive balls, that it's like, oh yeah, that thing's going to cost you, $150,000. This is something that like a bank or a fancy hotel or something buys. But for now, just, we're just playing with our balls, right? Yeah, quarter horse. Yeah, but the big thing is the torque ratio or whatever it is. They gear them way down. Like John was telling me, um, he's like, because I was asking him about the motors, and he's like, oh yeah, but the thing is you need to gear them way, way down because they need to be able to push a ball around. Because what happens is if you don't have strong enough motors, it won't grab it and do the random spin thing. You know, which by the way, we've let this one go just a little bit long. Absolutely cool. Here to help, buddy. So did you just see that? How it was like, and then it started? That's because these motors are underpowered. They go quick, but they're a little underpowered. sure we'll check this out while it's all dry. Had to get myself a nice little stack of shop towels here. Oh yeah, it's looking clean. So you can already see that side's wet, but right there, there we go. It's already starting to get that polish. We're going to set this over here, switch over to our next stage. And really what I'm looking for there is, because we have this wonky setup, what happens is sometimes the sphere will actually, it looks like it's getting full coverage, but there will just be a small little spot that's not actually getting hit. And so that's where I'll dry the whole thing off and check it, make sure. But this one looks good. Moving on to the 3000. And these stages, I do go a little bit longer because we've got this 3000, and then from there we got a 10,000. So since these are the two final stages, there's a couple things I want to show you guys. Now we're going to go a little bit longer, but remember how I was saying we have that milky, water that's coming off? Well, what we'll do here is we'll get this thing going, and then I'll show you that it's no longer milky. It's actually kind of brown. I'm pretty sure that's because it's not cutting anymore. So you see how I'll just kind of like get it in there to where it's like, yep, just barely touching. Don't want it to move a whole lot. And these springs, these spring chains, they're supposed to bring in the top, but I've noticed that kind of, in theory, like, they're good, but with this, it doesn't always work how you want it to. Well, we're going to see this cup right here doesn't have contact, right? Or not full contact. So we just bring that right up into it. And now this rear cup right here, that doesn't have complete contact, but bringing this one up, bringing this one up helps make contact. So we're just going to shim this rear one up just a little bit. And now you can see how it's getting that more random rotation. And the cool part is like, if you got your water right, what will happen is every once in a while you'll see, like, it will look like it's doing a non-random rotation, and then all of a sudden it will grab it and jerk it to one side, and that's really what it is it's like a rough spot. And so it grabs it and throws it into the mix, and then it's like dum-de-dum-de-dum. It's pretty interesting process. And I mean, just watching it, I feel like just watching it, you can kind of learn some stuff, I know that I've been staring at this thing like crazy ever since I started doing it, sometimes it's weird too, because especially like the roughing machine, you'll be staring at it, right? Trying to like see if everything looks good. And then it's okay. So like, have you ever been riding in the back of the truck and you're sitting in the back of the truck and you're watching everything like that? And then when you stop, everything feels like it's coming at you. It's kind of the same feeling, but instead, like, because the machine's usually, it's got like this kind of, this rhythm, this like, almost like a roll to it, Well, then when you stop looking at it, you're like, oh yeah, wait, it's it's an interesting one, I'll tell you. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like riding in the back of a truck. It's cool though. But yeah, so like I like to watch that, any kind of like let's say landmarks on that sphere. So clearly there's that big white stripe in it, right? And you see how it's just ever so slightly moving one way? Well, what we'll end up doing is we'll end up adjusting that slightly. Because right now we can see that it's basically hitting the same kind of spots over and over again. And that's fine. It is fine for now. Are we getting completely random rotation? Absolutely not. But are we ever going to get perfection like this? like that on this machine, highly unlikely. It's just not precise enough, you know? And that's where you just got to kind of mess with it and dial it in, you know? See that? So I know that's a really weird rotation we got on it right now. And it's more than anything, it's kind of spinning horizontally, right? But that's totally cool because what's going to happen is here. Oh, crap. I better set my little timer here, huh? Um, what's going to happen here in just a second, we'll we'll do the old switcheroo, right? And you'll see that in the current position that we have it in, when we turn the motor off, turn it back on, it's going to switch up the whole rotation and it will get full coverage. And so essentially what we're doing is instead of having, you know, an awesome machine that just does, you know, once you turn it in, you get it dialed in, it does everything it needs to, you know, what we get is we're going to have to use pretty much about 3 rotations to get our full coverage. But hey, guess what? Who cares, right? As long as we're getting an equally awesome product. But the other cool thing is too, is you see how that stripe keeps like flashing at you? Yeah, that's because it's the what is it? Chrysotile. So it's got that cat's eye effect. That's why I like this stuff. It's like that one that I did a while back. Oh man, that one turned out great. You know, because it had that flower on the bottom and stuff. Yeah, this one ain't gonna get sold. You know, I'll sell most of them, but you know, I think out of I don't know, I've made a bunch of these things already, but I think there's 3 that I'm just like, nope, these are staying with me, like just flat out. Like, these things are too awesome. Fortunately, they've all been smaller ones, so I didn't really feel like I was, you know, missing out on too much, you know. But and it's just like when you get one that's just like, oh my God, look at this. Like there's one that I did that I had to keep, right? I don't have it in the shop, otherwise I'd try to show you. But I think I posted it on my Instagram or Facebook or something. Anyway, I was rolling it. It's 2.5 inch, right? And I was doing I think it was the 1,000 grit or the 3,000 grit. And it was rolling, and like I'm watching it to make sure, because it's just like black. And I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? Is that like, it looked like a blue flash. And I was like, what the hell is that? And like it was moving too fast. I couldn't see it. And so I pulled out my camera and I was like trying to do a slow motion. And I'm like, there's a blue flash in there. What is this? And so I ended up finding out that like if I held it at just the right angle, there's like, I don't know, maybe copper or gases of some sorts, or I don't know, but it's got blue in it, and I've never seen that before. Not in antigorite. I mean, that's crazy. It reminds me of like like rainbow obsidian, or like what do they call that? The blue sheen, to where like you're not really seeing it until you hit it in that right light, and then it's like, oh, whoa. Let's do a little switcheroo real quick. Hey, there we go. Gotta love the wonkiness. All right, where are we at here? Oh, hey Susan, thanks for joining tonight. Good to see you here. Always wondered how spheres were made. I'm surprised they aren't more expensive than they are. Yeah, I mean, they ain't cheap. I'll tell you that. I actually try to be as reasonable as possible. I mean, my time's not cheap, or it's not free, let's say. But really, it's also like I understand that people want something cool, and I don't want to, I don't want to hold out on them. So um, I try to keep my prices as reasonable as possible. They're tough to make, and it definitely takes time. Like I can maybe do. Like I was saying earlier, I could, if weather is all good and everything, I can probably do 20 to 25 a week. So, and that's working long days, by the way. That's not 8 hours. That's like I was in my shop yesterday for probably 12. Um, I've been in the shop since 6 a.m. this morning, so um, yeah, it takes a while. A large portion of the price is determined by material that is used. Yeah, exactly. That's the truth, Rock on. Hey, Glowpon, thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate you being here. Ultimate game of marbles. Joking, but seriously, wonder that games could be made for these. Wouldn't hurt them during use. You know what? Actually, I had somebody recommend the marble racing, and I was like, oh my god, that would be so cool. Get like 4-inch spheres and actually build like a sweet little track on something like that. Oh man, yeah. I think it would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, I think that you'd have to, you'd have to know what the material is because I think like with this stuff, there's metal in it, and so it's heavier, which means, you know, in theory, it should be able to travel faster. You know, so. But I definitely think we should do something like that. It would be awesome. Hey, Debbie, good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Always glad to have you. Oh, hey, Gold Hunter 77. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well over there. It's been a while, man. Definitely wishing I was over in your neck of the woods. Tell you that. I've been fiending, bud. Really been fiending to go hit the coast up. It's been far too long, I think. Yeah, I haven't been able to go all winter, in fact. Um, well, maybe I'll try to sneak over there here in the next couple days if I'm really lucky. I mean, what is it like? I think I can get there in like 3.5 hours. Head over to Gold Beach, you know. But yeah, dude, we should meet up sometime. Do a little collabby. You know, I know you do the more of the gold stuff, but I've actually been watching your channel for a while. Don't always comment and stuff like that, but you know, I'm kind of one of them lurkers. Um, but yeah, actually, it kind of reminded me of my brother-in-law. So like watching your channel a lot. It's good. But yeah, we should do something, buddy. Glad to have you here tonight. Yeah, on Oregon Territory Adventures, we're definitely gonna have to. I was talking with a guy today who he watches the channel as well. A guy named Wyatt, and super cool guy, super cool guy. But I was telling him that we're gonna get together, and you know, all the boys are gonna head up the hill here before too long, and so he should join. And so I think we're gonna have a good group of people once this weather breaks. In fact, I do think we're supposed to get what like I want to say the rest of this week is supposed to rain, but after that we're supposed to get some sun again. So maybe we'll try to catch the tail end of that. I know that I need to meet up with Angel here, maybe tomorrow actually, because I want to do a little video of him making one of those little guitars or something. You know, I mean that's just super cool. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, bro, that's clever. That's clever. I like it." And I'd really like to do a series, kind of like, you know, showing people around here. Well, around here, I mean, in Oregon, that you know, make stuff. You know, whether it's they cut gemstones or make little guitars out of things. You know, I think that would be pretty cool. And then I also want to be able to help promote, you know, other guys that are doing YouTube type stuff or social media. You know, I think that it's better if we all work together. You know, and I think it's a whole lot funner than that way. You know, because there's a lot of people out there in the, you know, well, probably more so in the YouTube space, but they're not the most friendly people, let's say. And it kind of sucks when you're like, oh, cool, I'm gonna be part of this community, and I'm gonna meet new people, and we're gonna be friends, and we're gonna hang out, and we're all gonna find cool rocks and show each other, and then they're just like, who are you? Why are you trying to talk to me? Don't you know who I am? And it's like, well, wait, what? But I thought we were gonna be friends. Don't talk to me. It's like, bro, we're just rocks, man. I thought we were all just hanging out playing rocks. You know? But hey, that's just the way people are, you know? What are you gonna do? Create your own fun group. Well, we'll have blackjack and strippers. Hope somebody catches that reference, by the way. Epoch, I'm specifically looking at you, buddy. Oh, yeah. It does. Wooden chrome. I'm telling you. You know what would really look good? It's like a wooden eagle or something holding one of these balls, bro. Something like that. It's got a good wobble. It does. It does. And, you know, fortunately, you know, swapping it out like that has given us pretty much what we were looking for. But I tell you, this is one of those things. It's like you just got to kind of mess with it and mess with it and mess with it. And then finally, it's like, okay, yep, I think it's doing what it should do. What it should do now. Oh, talking too much, huh? Blast hits hard. Yeah, bud. Yeah, I've tried. I've tried, Debbie. And I got to be honest, the person that has been like the most open and, let's say, honest and like, just kind of like, hey man, this, you know, is just one of the boys is currently rock hounding. In fact, I was watching currently rock hounding's channel for probably a good year and a half, and I kept saying, "Oh man, I love your channel so much, dude. This is so cool. I didn't know anybody was doing this on YouTube. You know, you got to come down to Southern Oregon sometime. There's all these places around here that nobody knows about, like on the books. Like Gem Trails of Oregon, stuff like that. No, you're never gonna find anybody who's that will tell you about these spots. And we got really cool, unique stuff here." And he was like, "Well, dude, if you got such cool stuff in all these cool rock hunting places, why don't you start a channel?" And I was like, "You know what? I think I will, bro. I think I will." And yeah, I still talk to him all the time. In fact, the video that I just did, he recommended a title, and I was like, "Thanks, dude. That is a much better title. I like that, dude." And so I pinned his comment to the top and changed it over. But yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Definitely what I would consider a good friend. But yeah, it's not always like that. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. I mean, yeah, maybe it's just me. They don't like my face. But hey, it's cool. We got our own cool people, right? Oh, I went and hung out with AZ. They're great people. I love them. So the Subaru broke down. I was supposed to meet them out at Glass Buttes, right? Because they were doing this whole trip. I was supposed to meet them at Glass Buttes. I'm driving from Medford over to Glass Buttes, and it's like midnight. And all of a sudden, I'm like looking down at the car. I'm like, "Oh, okay, you know what? I might actually need to go get gas because I don't know how much further it is outside of Bend, like gas wise." And so um, I went up, took the exit, and then came back down the freeway because that's the side where all the gas stations were on. And right there at that at the cinder cone, I can't remember what it's called right off the top of my head, but my transmission like explodes essentially, right? And it was like 12, 12:30, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, what am I gonna do?" Like, okay, well, I guess I'm sleeping on the side of the freeway tonight. I called them up and I was like, "Hey guys, game over, dude. Like, my car's dead." And they're like, "You want to ride with us? We got room." I was like, "Wait, what? You don't even know me. Like, I could be a weirdo and stuff, like, And they're like, "Nah, man, get in." I'm like, "Let's do it." And so yeah, we went and had a great time and dug Obsidian, and yeah, I love those people. They're great. We definitely vibed. You know what I mean? Very cool people. I'd love to hang out with them again. Love to hang out with them. In fact, they got some claims down in Arizona. Probably have to get down there before too long. Oh yeah, buddy. That's the truth there, Epoch. All right, so give it a little extra rinse because you can see that it's just getting juicy. Now it's weird because you'd think that right there is just some big old scratch or a crack, right? But no, that's been fused back together. Oh God, look at that! It's really getting to where you can see stuff, and you can see all those chromite inclusions really glossing back at you. It's got that metallic finish on it. Where's Where's my nice clean towel? Oh, yeah. Let's see how our shiny looks. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Come and stay with us every year. Come to Salmon and I can intro you to my great people. Oh, yes. I'll definitely have to. You know, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff here in the near future. I definitely am looking forward to it. All right, so let's see if I can show you this guy dry. So yeah, as you can see, we're really getting a polish on it, but we still need to go our last stage, make sure it's all good. Now, what I'm really looking for here is sometimes what will happen when you get onto these polishing stages, specifically these last two, right? What happens is you'll get like skid marks. And so I've really been trying to make sure I watch that. But this guy looks like it's all good. And it also looks like I made sure to get out all the deeper scratches in it. So, because I've had it in the past where I didn't spend enough time in my pre-polish stages. And then I did all the polish. Polish looks great. But then when you look at it real close, you're like, there's scratches in there? Yeah, but they're under the surface. And so it's like, have to go back. Alrighty. Yeah, this one got good. Bring that in just a little more. Should be pretty good. Don't want these on there too tight because this is where I've had most problems with the little skid marks there, which is kind of frustrating. Because you're like, oh yeah, that looks good, and then you dry it off and you're like, wait, what is that? Oh yeah, look at that rotation. So we're gonna do just a little shimmy shimmy there. Looks like we might do a little just shimmy. There you go. Yeah, might as well give it just a. We're gonna give it just a little bit more water. Alrighty. So we'll let that go just for a little bit. We'll set our timer here. Go for about 15 on that one. And then we'll, once we get to about 15, what we'll do is we'll swap over, do our little switchy switch move, and see how that changes things. But one thing I have noticed is on these polishing stages, you really don't want a whole lot of pressure on that ball. It's weird. You'd think that you should be able to keep consistent pressure throughout your stages, but no. That is wrong think right there. And then the other thing too is they're kind of like, I'm exaggerating, right? But your cups are at an angle like this. And so even though it doesn't look like it's making full contact because you can see little gaps on the top, it actually is touching on the bottom more than it looks. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's just like you got to play with it. Fortunately, I've got a lot of material that I end up gotten this machine pretty dialed in. There we go. I had just a unnecessary amount of water going, but yeah, I think our rotation's looking pretty good. I gotta say though, on a different level, I kind of hate this stage because you guys can see my light, my wonky shop light with bubble wrap over it so it doesn't, because I was trying to disperse the light, which it actually works. But yeah, you can really tell because it's super glossy. But I suppose, hey, I didn't take didn't take what was it, theater class. I went to business school, not theater school. I think I made the right decision. Playing with rocks anyway, right? But yeah, I'm really hoping the rain subsides here soon. But if not, I swear, it's been a pretty long week. I might, now that I have that thought of going over to the coast in my head, I really kind of think I might have to take a drive over there and justify it to myself by saying I'm going to go over there and get a bunch of jasper. Just, maybe it's an Oregon thing, but going to the coast is just one of those things where it's like, nah, I got to do it every so often. It's like it resets your batteries, you know what I mean? Plus, it's so nice over there this time of the year. You don't have all the tourists and everything. Don't get me wrong, I'm a tourist, but yeah, it's just not super crowded, especially the spots I like to go. Nobody goes there anyway. Actually, when you see somebody down there, you're like, what are you doing down here, dude? Like, how? Okay, man, I did 10K. I have 80K. I'm not wasting it on stones 5 or less. Yeah, yeah. Hey, thanks, Casey. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's coming along, guys. It's definitely coming along. And this is where, actually, I wish I had that gem torch with me. Because I'll tell you what, this gets some great light penetration. Might have to run out there and grab it. Check the tides. They've been king tides. Yeah, and see, my whole thing is coming in right after them king tides. Find up all the good rocks. But yeah, it's weird because I usually just go to Gold Beach. It's kind of my spot. Hopefully, I will retire there one day. But yeah, it'll be storming up, like crazy, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna gamble. I'm just gonna do it. I don't care. Who cares if it's raining? I'll bring my rain suit. And then I go over there, and it's just like nice and calm. No, no rain. Just partially cloudy and stuff. Not all super windy. It's just like, huh, sweet. Guess it knew I was coming. you know. But yeah, I love it over there. Gold Beach is so great. I really just, oh man, because I've grown up on the Rogue River, and so going from Gold Hill to Gold Beach seems like the natural conclusion. In fact, the original dream of mine was to own something like the Indian Creek Cafe over there, because I was a chef for many years, and just to have a little breakfast joint, Because it's like I'm a millennial. I'm not going to have a retirement fund or 401k or any of that stuff to take care of me. I highly doubt Social Security is even going to be there, so I'll probably work until the day I die. you know. And I think that's something like a little restaurant, just keep me going, have something to do, you know. Always have breakfast on the table. I think it sounds pretty good to me. And plus, tell you what, you want to see some of the happiest people in the world. You look at an old person, you know, hanging around in the morning, you know, 7 a.m., eating eggs and drinking coffee with their buddies. You know, that's great. That's happiness right now. They appreciate every little bit of their conversation, every little bit of the freaking day that they spend together. And then what do? They go off and walk the beaches and pick up little agates and stuff like that and just enjoy life. See, to me, I'm like, that sounds a whole lot better than, you know, going to Florida or whatever the West Coast equivalent is. Some good minus tides next month. Oh, man, yeah. That's the ticket right there, too. You know, I've actually, I don't do very well when I try to catch the minus tides. I don't know why. You know, it seems like the best rock hounding I ever do is when I'm just like, I got to get out of here. I need to go to the coast. And then I go over there. You know, I don't look at anything. Maybe I'll check the weather or something like that. And then, yeah, I'll go over there. Beautiful day. I'll just enjoy the hell out of myself. Find awesome rocks. Have good hiking experience. You know, walk all over the beach. Take your shoes off. That's the goods right there, I'll tell you. See, now it's stuck in my head. But if I was a good boy, you know, I'd keep working hard and keep grinding out balls all week. Go up and get some more antigorite and cut some more cores. Make sure I'm ready for that show. Oh yeah, I want to show you real quick. Maybe I can show you on this stage. So like I was saying before, I showed you how that water is kind of milky, right? Show you if I can see if it will show more of a brown color on this one. It's really difficult to do. Yeah, so you see how it's more of like brownish black? Here, I'm going to do the swap real quick too. I'll take that. We'll take that rotation. That'll work good enough. Oh man, you can really see that grain starting to pop. Ooh wee. Should have probably turned up the white balance just a little bit, but that's all right. It's a really, really dark stone. It's part of the reason I like this stuff. This guy's like, there's more than meets the eye kind of thing, you know. Yeah, looks like we got a good amount of viewers tonight too, on top of our normal viewers. It's nice. Maybe that new video that I put out Wednesday got a few more people interested in the whole sphere making world. That's cool. You know, I'm always happy to see, you know, when we get new interest, you know. And I definitely enjoy doing what I do, but I'm really going to be interested to see how, or more like what everybody thinks about the whole sunstone mining thing. Because I mean, I'm getting one of those Starlink, and I'm going to live stream a bunch of it out there. I'll be making my normal videos as well. I mean, I won't be able to make spheres because I'll be out in the way out in the desert. But you know, I'm gonna do like many videos as I can out there. I'm gonna bring my laptop and I'm gonna upload my old video editing software onto that, which I think should work. Not positive. Hey, thanks, Derry. Appreciate that. That was very generous of you. Yeah, spinning stone is like watching a flame. Exactly, buddy. Yeah, thanks, Derry. You're the best. Really appreciate it. Every little bit helps, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that, you know, because we're going to start out with absolutely nothing out there. It's just going to be dirt. You know, there's not going to be any pit. There's not going to be nothing. It's just going to be us digging. Well, you know, digging and sifting and the whole process. But yeah, we're going to have the Starlink out there, and I'm going to be doing, you know, I don't know. We're probably going to be doing a lot of like webcam stuff as well, which, I mean, it ain't great. Don't get me wrong. But probably going to try some vertical stuff out there. Just because I know my phone can go for a pretty long time. I can keep it plugged in. You know, we're just going to have to, there's going to be some stuff we're going to have to figure out. I don't know if we're going to be able to do two cameras, though. Not with a laptop. And I don't think bringing a nice computer out there is the wisest idea. That's already going to be kind of a logistical nightmare trying to figure all this stuff out. But hey, you know what? It's the YouTube thing. You know, it's like YouTube's original motto or whatever was broadcast yourself. And I think that's where, like, I really wish we'd go back to that kind of, you know, that motif, because it's like, I'm really tired of this whole Mr. Beastification of YouTube, where everybody is like, you know, they're selling something. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, I sell my spheres and stuff, but I'm not selling you my Patreon. I'm not trying to do all that kind of stuff. And like my sponsor, what sponsor? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even try to get sponsors. And when I get the emails in my, or, you know, get people emailing me, being like, we've got a great opportunity for you. And it's like, uh-huh, I bet you do. Uh-huh. What is it you want me to sell? Temu shoes? No, dude, I think I'll pass. I will tell you, though, when Currently Rock Hounding gets around to making, like, full-blown manufacturing his machines, I told him, I'm in, bud. I'm in. I'll hawk those things all day long. I'll tell everybody I know about them because, you know, in a lot of ways, I think that we need more competition in this sphere. In this sphere, yeah, exactly. Everything's a sphere now, guys. But no, you know, we just need more competition. You know, as much as I like the Highland Park stuff, you know, I ordered those cups in November. They just got here yesterday. Okay, maybe there's a reason for it. Okay, maybe there's, you know, something. Maybe there's an alternative. But it's like, who else makes cups? Nobody. Just flat out. Nobody makes them. And give us another couple minutes here on that one. But yeah, you know, when you only have 2 or 3 players in the industry, you're at their mercy. It's like that the upgrade I'm trying to do with Frank right now. I can't do it because they don't have it. And it's like, you guys haven't had it for over a month. When are you going to get it again? What do you mean, That's your inventory. What kind of business are you running here? But whatever, I mean, you know, hey. Maybe we'll see some changes. Maybe we won't. You know, sometimes that's just the way it is. Tell you what, though. Once I get those wheels for Frank there, it's going to be good. And I'll be able to just work in my little shop here. I'll never have to come out. No sunlight for me. Just making balls like a little troglodyte all day long. I've been in my shop for too long, guys. I barely leave anymore. Depending on your phone, sometimes you can use an OTG adapter. Yeah, and that's something I'm going to be working on. And that's another reason why I'm going to be making Rockhound like a moderator. I'm going to be digging. I'm going to be out in the desert and stuff. I'm going to need somebody to be like, okay, yep, you need to move your stuff around. You need to do this. Your sound, we can't hear anything you're saying, blah, blah, blah. It's already hard enough here right now. Took me, half dozen of these videos, if not more, or these live streams to get it to where my sound was even like tolerable, And I still can't run all my machines all at once. Like I want to do just daily live streams where it's like, because I'll come out here at like 8 o'clock in the morning and just work like a normal job. And I would love to just flip the camera on and be like, oh, okay, so here's what I'm going to be doing. All right. And then do it. But, God, if I'm wearing earplugs, yeah, I could just imagine the terrible sound it would be online. Yeah, I mean, Debbie, I'm really looking forward to it. Chris, when we were checking out the different claims, he was like, me and my brother are out there, and he's like, you guys ever play Monopoly? And it's like, come on, bro, who hasn't played Monopoly? I mean, yeah, of course we played Monopoly. And he's like, this right here is Boardwalk. And I'm like, we'll take this one. So, I'm really looking forward to it. And we're not supposed to have like any cap rock there, and if we do, it's not going to be much, which that saves not only on a bunch of costs but time. Check with him on a good day. Exactly. Makes quality products. Happy with everything I have from him. Yeah, definitely have to check it out. I mean, I'm definitely hoping that Jared gets the manufacturing process, because I was telling him, I was like, bro, make sphere machines and cups. That's what you need to do. And more than anything, make cups. If you can get cups made, bro, that or a gang saw. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the stuff that China's doing, but it's bananas. I mean, like, why are we cutting one slab at a time? We should be cutting 5. I mean, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. But for some reason, we're just like, nope. Why would we do any of that? That's way too efficient. I mean, all you got to do is put little spacers in. Put another blade. It's good. Fine. But, yeah, what do I know? I'm just another guy. So, yeah, what do we got? We got 35 seconds on here. And so I would say we're about ready to pop this baby out and dry her off, see how she looks. We're getting these streams dialed in, too, because we're just at about 2 hours now. I think we're figuring this stuff out, guys. I think we're getting it. All right, we're going to turn that thing off because it's an annoying little sound. Hey, we're working on it, buddy. All right. Let's see how we are looking. Hopefully no skid marks, right? The older I get, the more I have to say that. Where's my nice clean yellow towel? Oh, yeah. Upscaled bead mill could produce multiple spheres at once. That's actually what one of the methods that China's using is they do a huge like bead mill type thing. Problem is you can only go up to a certain size with that. And so I recently saw another type of machine that is absolutely mind blowing. I'm talking it cranks out a sphere in like 10 seconds. Not exaggerating at all. And so what it is you have like imagine two like gnarly rollers, right? And these have different grits on them. And then you have a central platform that you put your ball on, And what happens is you got two motors that come down onto the ball. It squeezes on it like that. And then as these spin, they go back and forth like this. It is bananas. And I mean, they were doing like labradorite. I saw they had some agate ones, and it's like they put it in, and it goes done. And it was like, oh my god, like instantly, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, I'm saving that reel. Where did you get that machine? How much? And of course, like I think they're probably building them somewhere. You know, not in you ain't getting in the U.S. Basically, they might be custom built. Oh yeah, this one looking good. Let's get a little extra dry on that because that towel. All these things are cheap. They seem like they get wet. Or oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, looks like we got a good one. I don't see any skids either. Let's see if we can show you this. Oh, oh yeah, look at that. Oh man, that's not the greatest view. There we go. Forgot that I. Oh, you can see those are just fuzzies, by the way. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh, that part's nice right there too. And see if we can show you that part. Love it when you get that angle there, that angle change. But yeah, looks like we do have some fuzzies on this thing though. Like I said, it's not the greatest towel in the world, but definitely can see it. See if this camera's any better. Nope. Yeah, see, this is where I need to just. I'd really like to have better cameras. But oh yeah, look at that. See if I can show you right in there. Like there's these little chromite ah, there it is. Like right in there. It's like kind of a more of a golden color inclusion, which I'm thinking is probably pyrite. But yeah, sometimes you'll get them in there that it's like, wait a minute, the chromite's more of a blackish brown, pewter colored type metal, not gold, you know. But who knows? Maybe there is some gold in those one time. That'd be a hell of a deal for whoever picks it up, then, huh? Right. All right. Well, I think that was yeah. Look at that. 2 hours even. Everything they do is very industrialized. Yeah, buddy, it is. And one day I will be cool like them, or at least I'll be cool enough to go and check out one of their shops. Right, make a video of it. That'd be pretty awesome. Tell you that. There's a lot of things I want to do, and to be honest, I would not mind going over there just to check out some of their operations. They gotta admit they know how to play with rocks. Do a pretty good job at it too. Now, some of the stuff is quality wise, might be able to put a little bit more effort in that one, but as for speed and mass production, whew, man, they're on it. You know what I mean? So, all right, well, definitely appreciate everybody coming tonight, and hope to see you next time. And I also hope you guys have a beautiful Sunday tomorrow. I know that I'll be trying to anyway. And if you haven't already, check out the video that I just posted. If you're looking for any extra tips, tricks, anything like that, you can always reach out to me. And if you're interested in any of these balls, check out rockhound.com, rckhnd.com. And we'll be seeing you next week, all right? Have a great night, and I appreciate y'all joining tonight.